When I had to take my recon team into a village, and I see a mama son send a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old baby son into my men, I had a choice to make.
I think if the average population, every average American knew what we did, you would be burdened with something that I don't want you to be burdened with. That's what we did. That was my job. That was my service.
People didn't want to know. Close friends that I'd known for years were afraid to even ask me a question about Vietnam, almost as if they were going to trigger some wild man release there.
Less than 1% of Americans are active duty service members in the United States military, a fraction so scarce, those who rejoin society post-deployment stand out. They are often greeted with a nod of respect, a smile, and 5 familiar words.
Thank you for your service.
When I hear thank you for your service, I feel the pride I had for serving my country.
Thank you for your service.
When I hear those words, when I hear thank you for your service, it brightens my day.
I tell them, you were worth it. I know veterans that when they're told thank you for your service, that they don't acknowledge it. They actually don't like that.
It's just a rubber stamp. It's just something that's easy to say.
I'll be honest, I hate it. I hate it. Not all service was ideal, you know? When you have a suicide bomber running at you that's a child and they have to be eliminated, that's part of the service. That's not the part you're proud of, but it's part of it.
And war's awful. Do we want to be reminded all the time? Not really, but that is not on the general public to be like, oh, I don't want to thank him if it's going to cause problems.
To understand how veterans were treated throughout history, you must look at how each war has been perceived. When the country was united against evil, veterans were celebrated.
I'm 100 years old. World War II, the country was informed and was backing the veterans.
The results of 9/11, the military became very popular.
The flags were flying across the U.S. We were supported, you know.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
It's obviously making its way around the stadium here.
But during Vietnam, there was not universal acceptance of the country's military mission.
We weren't very popular when we came home. 1970 was a bad time.
The unrest in the country was so bad that a lot of people started taking it out on the individual soldier.
When I came home from Vietnam, we were called baby killers. We were spit on.
Those poor guys got blamed for something the leadership of the country did and did not inform the public.
It's bull. There is all these people who were conscripted into the military, and they were being told to. It was either go to war or go to jail.
I know that there are veterans that came before me that didn't get that thank you.
What I think about is all the people that were killed in Vietnam that you couldn't thank them for their service.
For some veterans, saying thank you for your service is just not enough.
I would rather people be more engaged and ask me how my time was in the service. Ask me how my friends were. Ask me if I know anybody that lost their lives in Afghanistan, Iraq.
Being more compassionate, being more sympathetic, and being able to listen without having an opinion about what the person is saying. Just listen.
I feel that we have lost a lot of good people, a lot of good veterans to suicide, and a lot of that could have been prevented if they were just listening to them.
You know, I served half of my life in the military. It's all I knew. And it's just really hard to find that same sense of fulfillment in everyday life here.
I'm a junk hauler. It's veteran-owned, veteran-operated. And the best way you can thank me is by employing me, letting me have purpose again in my community.
On Veterans Day every day, as we try and find the right words to say, What matters most to us veterans is we have each other, and to some of us, that is enough.
When you hear it from a Vietnam vet or a Korean War vet or a World War II vet, if that doesn't humble you, then you can't be humbled.
It didn't matter whether you were black, whether you're white, whether you were Republican, Democrat, it didn't matter. You guys were all fighting for each other, and that's what Veterans Day means to me, is people coming together for the common goal. You only have each other, and that's it.